Well, my friend, it looks like it's a sad day. The factory battery in my 2019 Street Glide Special back here has finally kicked the bucket, I think. I tested it with my multimeter, and it still read 12 volts, but it has like 0 cold cranking amps, and I don't know how to test that. So I went to the store, and I bought a new battery. And of course, I'm getting messages while I'm trying to record. But yeah, this is what I bought. It's a Duracell. They list it as working with the Harley Street Glide Special. So let's take a look in this video how to get at your battery, how to replace the battery, and then maybe we'll ride for a few minutes at the end. What do you think? Is that a good idea? Boop the like button if that's a good idea. Hey, I hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to the channel if I didn't say it. Golly, I'm getting all these messages. And by the way, all this should work on any, I think, 09 and up touring model, but it'll definitely work for all the 114 stuff. I mean, it just has to, right? Your mileage may vary. Good golly with these messages. So I started by removing the bags. There's one missing. There's another one missing. They're in the trailer, off frame. But then the strap comes off the seat, no problem. You take one bolt out, and I'm gonna put it all back together when I'm done, so you'll see all this. But then one seat bolt. I'm not gonna do a 10-minute video on a seat bolt, it's factory. And then we look under here. So as you can see, the battery cover is removed. There's 2 bolts that go in here. There's 2 bolts that go in here, and they're these guys right here. Boom, you can see them. See them in the shadow? Yeah. Anyway, there's 2 bolts there. That holds this in place. But these 2 guys here clip in right up here, and it's pretty funny. It says Road King there. You probably get that in focus. Anyway, it says Road King right there, which is hilarious. And then this guy here, he slides in. So we have a slot in one spot, and I'll show that later. It's this spot here. Yeah, there you go. It's that spot there. That's where he slides in. So we got like 3 or 4 things, and then you have access to the terminals. And I tried my NoCo boost, and things started smoking. So I think the battery is toast. You can see I have a 3-amp battery charger plugged into this battery. It's been on charging for like an hour. So, you know, the time it took me to go buy the new battery. So apparently, things are not so great in Tinseltown. Why did I say that? Anyway, that's a good shot. So this is a Duracell. 400 cold cranking amps should be enough. It's a heavy son of a gun. I didn't go with lithium on this one. Didn't feel like it. I really just want to get out and ride, dang it. We got a break in the weather here, and I have a chance to go, but the bike wouldn't start. There it is. Let's get the other one out. So, in complete transparency, I did try to fire the bike up before I took the old battery out, and it did start. But I have a feeling that since it was sitting in the sun and warmed up, and the oil wasn't as cold because it's been in the 30s and blowing the last few days, whatever, I have a feeling it just had enough to start. Just enough. But when I disconnected the battery charger and then I plugged it back in, it was like, yeah, we're still charging. We haven't even gotten to 80% yet. So battery was toast. So now I have the new battery in. Let's do a test, and let me take you through it real quick. So it's as simple as pulling the old one out, which involves moving these guys out of the way and moving that out of the way. It's a knuckle buster. I scraped a couple of knuckles, but then the positive and negative terminals, you just disconnect those. The thing slots right out. The new one slots in, and you tighten them. I tighten the negative first, ground. I figure that's safer. Let's turn the bike on. I don't hear a fuel pump. There's the fuel pump. Okay, I had to hit the button over here. Ah, nice. That, my friend, is a good feeling. Now, a little bit of open honesty. When I checked with the multimeter, it did say 12 volts, but I assume it didn't have enough cold cranking amps. But it's sunny, it's 65 out. The bike was charged as far as the tender could go, right? And I think when they sit overnight, it loses too many. Because, you know, I've got the solar panels, because up on that roof there on the trailer, I have 2 solar panels, one for the Harley and one for my bobber. And so they charge during the day, obviously not at nighttime, but I checked and the solar panel's sending juice. So it's got to be that the old battery was just toast in this thing, right? Makes sense to me. For under 200 bucks, I fixed it, right? Now, let's button it back up. I'll show you how that works. So we're gonna start by putting this guy back in place. All these wires slot over them. These guys can get removed. I only put them in there kind of as placeholders anyway. You want to not pinch any wires, so take your time with this part. But there's a tab right down there that a plastic tab on this cover goes over, and then once it's in place, you'll know it. So if you can see down in there, I know it's a little shadowy, but the tab on the battery cover itself goes over this metal tab and then comes back and everything lines up. So now I need to tighten these bolts down. But while we're here, we can slot everything in. So we want to start by putting the engine control module back in place. And it's got two clips here and here that hold it in place. So once you get it lined up, it should just snap into place. There we go. There, that's in place. Now this guy comes over here and he's gonna slot in right there. There, he's in place. And now we need to get these guys pushed back into place. There we go. Everything is tucked up underneath the seat area here. There's no loose wires that I can see. Nothing crazy loose anyway. I don't know. I guess that one's okay where it's at. Yeah. So now I just need to tighten this bolt and that bolt down, and then we'll put the seat back on. So all we need for this is 1/2-inch socket and a drive for it. So that's pretty easy. I've got that done. Let's put the seat back on next. I wanted to clean under the seat first. So now that I gave it a good wipe down with some spray detailer, it's time to put the seat back on. This area here goes into a tab on the bike, and then the seat bolt goes through that. Tighten it down with a screwdriver. Now while we have our screwdriver out, we can put the seat strap back on. Start on this side, just bring it all the way over, lay it gently. And then when I took it apart, I left it sitting here in the spot. Now with it out, we'll set that gently over there on the seat. There's a tab that extends the seat strap, and it just goes right through this hole, and you can see that it lines up there. So now we're going to start this by hand. Always start your screws by hand, or bolts, whatever. And it just goes through the grommet, through the bracket. It's gripping. So now I can use my screwdriver and tighten it down, get it snugga-dugga-dugga. That's good. Maybe one more. Yeah, that's good. Now we're gonna put the bags back on. Now she looks like a bike again. Look at that. Got bags on it. Everything's buttoned up. She might even be a little bit cleaner than when I started. So the only thing left is a test ride. So I have been riding for a few miles and the bike is running great. Couple of things that I noticed leading up to this that I think are important for the video. One is that for the last, I don't know, 2-3 months, you know, ever since we started getting a little bit chillier in the evenings, sometimes the bike has a little bit of a struggle starting up in the morning. And this past weekend, or week, yeah, basically week, has been the coldest yet of 2024 as I'm recording this. We're gonna get colder still, but it's really, it really comes down to, I think the bike can hold volts, but not amps. And I am not an electrical engineer, so somebody in the comments section, help me out with that one. How does that really work with batteries? You know, I'm kind of a half expert on a great many things, but I don't understand cold cranking amps. Anyway, the bike did have some hesitation starting up. Why are you coming to a stop? There's nobody here. Go. When I got that older battery charged up enough, which took like an hour, it did struggle to start still. It really sounded real rough as she started up. But the first kickover, as you heard with this new battery, it really changed the game for this bike. I dare say game changing. I need coffee. but it was starting up very quickly, and then the subsequent start to get the bike going now really just fired right up and idled nicely, if I could speak. I dare say, just like you're getting my good side here, I'm getting a better side of my bike. It's probably all up in my cranium, but I think the bike is running better. Definitely feels like she has good power, good something. I don't know, just feels like she's running better. Hour and a half later, sun's going down. It's, you know, it's off frame, obviously, but what a ride, man. Oh, I had such a blast. The bike does seem to be running better. I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's a little smoother, whatever. I mean, I know that if you have unclean electricity, bad stuff can happen. So maybe this bike's been trying to tell me for a couple of months now that she needed a new battery. But just in case you don't have them at home, I will leave links to the tools I used in the description below. I will leave a link, if I can find it, to that Duracell battery. I don't know if it's going to last, but I know it works in the bike. I mean, it started her up a couple of times, and we're going to start it up one more time as the outro to this video while the info cards are playing. But I hope you enjoyed this. I mean, this was my first time underneath the seat of my bike, other than installing the saddlebag guards and installing the custom dynamics, turn signals, and headlight. I mean, and those were just like basic plug and play. I didn't have to get the battery case and all that stuff apart. I just had to put their dongles in line in between stuff. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. If you did, boop the like button, leave a comment below, share it with somebody who's not a mechanic but rides a Harley. Maybe they'll get some chuckles out of this. I don't know. And I know there's some mechanics out there going, oh, you should have done it this way. You should have done it that way. Correct me in the comments section, you know, and I'll leave you with the two mantras. 1, you have a 100% track record of making it through a bad day. And 2, do something nice for yourself every day. Maybe it's going out and buying a new battery for your Harley. Let me fire this thing up and park it. Bye. Interestingly enough, it shows 13 volts, almost 13. That's higher than normal. Good. Yeah. Starts up just fine.